This is my review on the 2010 remake of True Grit. Fuck this movie. This movie has a lot going for it. Until we get to the Achilles heel. Jeff Bridges. Could anybody understand what a single word this man is saying in the movie majority of the time? He talks like, well... This is my Jeff Bridges impersonation of his performance. You're a bear in one ice. They try to say that. Now, those who I said that in that voice to the audience, to you guys, can you guess what I said? Give me a beer on ice, like I said. And Jeff Bridges' Grit accent he has in this movie. That's the accent he has all the time when he's sober. Until we get to the third act, when we get to that showdown that's a reimagining and a recreation of, and also an homage of John Wayne's showdown when he says, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch." Or, well, when he says, like, "Fill your head, you son of a bitch," something like that. But yeah, honestly, I was shocked that the biggest shock of that scene when Jeff Bridges does that scene is that I could actually understand what he was saying. Other than that time, unless he's completely fucking getting wasted in this movie, when he's sober, you can't understand him at all. But when he's wasted and drunk and aggressive and it's all depressing, you can actually understand what he's saying. Loud and clear. You know, Jeff Bridges. Now, this isn't like a good Jeff Bridges. This is not a good use of Jeff Bridges because this is. You know, Jeff Bridges is an R.I.P.D. I couldn't understand a single fucking word he was saying. Well, here is actually worse. Here you can't even understand what he's saying even worse. You get less. You can understand less because he's doing that thing with his voice where you're trying to where you're trying to disguise his voice and do an accent, but you can't understand at all what he's saying because it sounds like he's chewing on tobacco or something, or has a mouthful of gum, or his gums are inflamed. It just sounds wrong. Human beings shouldn't sound like that. Nobody sounds like that. Nobody who has the functionalities of talking, and it was a voice. That I need to have experience. So yeah, it was impossible to care about Jeff Bridges as Grit, and because I just couldn't understand the majority of the time what he was saying, you know? Whenever he's on screen, I am taken out of the movie and thinking, you know, it's the same how it's saying myself to myself. You know, it's the same how good Jeff Bridges looks as True Grit, as the guy. How he looks actually like him, like John Wayne, and pulls off the look like John Wayne could never pull off the look. Like it looks like a damaged soul. But then when you start hearing him talking, it's fucking hysterical because you can't understand what he's saying. At least I couldn't. I asked my dad about, could you understand what words what Jeff Bridges was saying? And he couldn't understand either. And then I asked him, why did you like the film? Well, when I pointed that out, when I pointed out he didn't really like the film as much because it didn't dawn on him that he didn't really like the film because he couldn't understand what the word is at all. What he's saying, it sounds like gibberish actually, worse than gibberish actually. When Jeff Bridges talks majority of the time in this movie. And God, I thank them for not making this as long as the first one. Not even half as long, because it's a lot shorter than the first one. Now, I'm only glad it's shorter than the first one because, you know, I can't stand Jeff Bridges in this movie because he will not use regular language in actual words. You know, it's hard to say Jeff Bridges was better at than John Wayne. I'm not so sure about that. He looks the part a lot more. The John Wayne, his in terms of design and aesthetics, his look is beautiful as this character. It's like very believable look, but I couldn't understand the fucking word he was saying majority of the time. So it's really hard to say he gave a better performance than John Wayne. Personally, I think he gave worse performance, but that's probably just because I couldn't understand what he was saying majority of the time. When I could understand what he was saying, when he was getting wasted in the movie, you know, and not sobered up, and the only time when he was sobered up was in the last 15 minutes of the movie when he decided to, when he had the show line was all the bad guys and said, called the bad guy son of a bitch, and when he yelled it out in made his entrance to the bad guys and the showdown happened. That's the only time I could actually understand him other from there on out. But then after that, he just disappears from the movie. And he's not in the movie a whole lot of them at times. When he uses actual words. It's like, what the fuck was the point of this movie anyway? If you're not going to do if you're not going to do the source material justice that the book did so well, that the movie couldn't do the first time, and you can't do it right the second time in the remake of with Jeff Bridges. Will we ever get a good adaptation of True Grit? Probably not in my fucking lifetime. But I hope that's not the case. So I'll give this a 0 out of 10. Goodbye. Shit. Goodbye. I did press the button didn't click all the way. So, something went wrong with it. It wouldn't stop when I wanted to stop, so I'm going to try this again.